What if you knew that people are watching your social media before they even click follow? People are connecting, relating, becoming invested, navigating if they actually see a part of themselves in you. This often happens long before people slide into your DMs, wanting to learn more to work with you, wanting to give you a compliment, wanting to admire your work and what you share and create. So when I shared about my move to the Gold Coast about 5-6 months ago, I had someone messaging me this exact thing. Hey Isabel, I had just been watching you from a distance and now I'm so invested in what you do. Storytelling definitely works. That's the power of storytelling. Welcome to Start Somewhere, the bingeable podcast for the ambitious, self-development obsessed who know they are meant for more. More money, more freedom, more fun. Each week, I expose the sexy truths about manifestation, feminine mindset, and rituals to keep your body and lifestyle thriving. I'll show you how to move through change like it's your runway moment. Welcome to our grounded space to becoming self-obsessed and seducing your own life, where we start with the first step, not the entire staircase. Let's start somewhere together. No algorithms, no hacks, showing up in a way that makes people feel like they already know you. I guarantee if you have been a long-time listener of the show, or maybe you've only tuned in to a handful of episodes, you probably feel like you know me on some kind of level. And you're probably right, because I'm authentic and I'm showing myself through this form of content, through the stories that I share in the podcast. This is actually how you become bingeable. In fact, did you know that typically when new people come across the show, they all love to start from episode 1, which I love. And I'm like, oh my gosh, episode 1, 2020. Like we've got, I think, over 160 episodes or 150 episodes. And they love to start from the first one and make all their way through. Shout out to Monica. I know you're listening. Monica's been a long time listener of the show. And when I first showed her my podcast, I know she listens from 1 all the way to where we're at now. It's showing up in a way that make people feel like they already know you. So it's not just about posting for the sake of posting. It's about creating moments that make people stop scrolling and lean in and think, oh, I need more of her. Like, I need to hear what's coming next. I'm invested in what she's sharing and what she's posting about. Your story is the magnet, and your brand is what makes people stay. I could have a really magnetic story and like a really undesirable brand presence that could probably repel people straight away. Instead, I have a phenomenal story and I'm great at magnetizing people to me, and my brand is aesthetic and delicious and amazing, and I love it so much. So you need to also be this obsessed with your brand and your story and what you do. I love talking all about storytelling marketing, and the other day I was talking to a few of the women that I do my mastermind with, and we're all sharing strengths about each other. And a lot of the women said my skills on storytelling and how I can find, if you give me some kind of story or experience or memory or what you did yesterday, I can find the thread and like pull that out and turn that into an epic, like 3 pieces of an amazing content. And I do this a lot. My housemate was just telling me a bunch of random things that she did. I was like, oh, that's a reel there. That's a carousel. That's a story. Speak more in this, speak more in that. And she's like, whoa, how does your brain do that? It's my skill, right? It's my strength. It's my business. It's what comes naturally to me. And this is exactly what I do with my clients as well. They'll come to me and tell me things and they're like, Isabel, I don't make sense of storytelling. Like, how do I do this? What do I do this? And now I'm sharing more intentional trainings with all of my clients and it's clicking, it's dropping in. Now they're like, this is the storytelling thing. This is storytelling marketing. This is how I can convey this to my audience. I'm like, yes, it's landing. And that's the thing. It's not this like step 1, step 2, step 3. Like, sure, there are steps along the way that can support that. And at the same time, a huge, huge pillar is who you are being. It's your identity. It's your confidence. It's your willingness to show up and share. So many people are not willing to do that, which means you instantly get a competitive advantage. Because by you showing up, being vulnerable, sharing a story that's captivating, you're already like 10 steps ahead of people that are literally still stuck in analysis paralysis and worried about their follower count. Like, those vanity metrics are so 2022. What is here to stay and moving into 2026 is storytelling marketing. Nobody can tell your story better than you. Nobody has your story. Therefore, instant way to stand out. When I speak about visibility, it's not posting into a void to fill the feed for the sake of it. It's moving with influence. And I do not mean to be an influencer. I mean moving with influence. Do your words linger in the minds, in the ears of your dream clients, of your audience? Do people recite and repeat the wording that you share? My audience are always using the terms bingeable branding, start somewhere, storytelling marketing. I'm getting DMs, I'm having conversations with women, my clients and other people in my community who are using these exact words that I use and preach and teach. That's intentional, right? I've planted those seeds in my community's minds, and they also get to live that way. That's strategy, that's storytelling, that's branding. And yes, every second person seems to be on social media teaching and preaching something, which is cool because we get this free platform to do that. And at the same time, not that it's harder, and at the same time, people could view it as more challenging, with air quotes here, to stand out online and to not be like the rest. And it's true, because you can come across so many people's content and I'm just like, what even is this? Like, what am I looking at? This is not entertaining. It's not captivating. Yes, aesthetics are important, and it's also the value that you're providing, and it's also who you're being. Okay? I could say something and someone else could say the identical thing, and I guarantee you'll resonate with me more than the other person because you're already listening to this podcast. Therefore, there is some kind of connection between you and I, which I love. And that's the thing. People buy from people. Marketing is so much of psychology and human behavior. So much of it, which is why I love that I am learning so much more in NLP, and I'm currently doing my master's in NLP as you're listening to this episode, because I've pre-recorded a bunch of content, because it's all communication. And marketing, like online marketing in particular, is your messaging. So your copywriting, your words, your captions, your landing page, the words you're actually speaking in your videos, in your podcasts, in your content. Every word matters. And when I'm doing my captions, for example, when I'm writing my copy, when I'm helping my clients with their copy, and I'm reading every single line, at the end of each word to go to the next line, is there a desire to continue reading, or have you lost me? Is it just really broad and boring and generic? Or am I actually hooked onto that word and I'm so eager to read the next few words, the next few lines? If you have not subscribed to my Start Again series, first of all, there's your tea, there's your drama, there's your entertainment. And I receive the words, the feedback, the testimonials I got from everybody who's a part of that series. A common word people used were they were hooked from my story writing. People were saying how captivating it was to read. And this is an email sequence. Like, this isn't even my animated self in your ears or on your eyes on YouTube. This is purely my words. And this is how powerful our words are, how powerful our copywriting is. And I've been perfecting, and it's not perfect. I've been working on my writing for years and years. And this email series was fun for me to put together. I was like, yay, a project. And it was also play for me. I was able to put everything I've learnt to the world, and it did phenomenal. And people were so intrigued by my storytelling, and that's because I was so specific and like razor what's the word I'm looking for? So specific with my wording, and I would reread it and reread it, be like, this word can go, this word needs to come in. I'm bored after this line. How can I make this more captivating? Yes, I wrote from my heart, and at the same, by the way, I did not use ChatGPT at all for that thing. I wrote completely from my heart and then use all of my skill set that I've learned when it comes to messaging and copywriting to make that series what it was. There's a reason it did so well. It wasn't because it was luck. It wasn't because I have a great brand presence. There's a reason that series did so well. If you're a part of it, you know. And if not, the link will be to join in the show notes, and you're probably like, what is she on about? The Start Again series. It's incredible. And that was so fun for me to put together. And that was a beautiful example of storytelling. And that's exactly what I help my clients with now. It's like extracting their stories and conveying them in such a way for their audience to also feel captivated, to also feel hooked by. I love that was like a common thing. So are you like jumping on your stories and just blabbering and I'm just like, you've lost me, I'm bored, I don't care. Like people do not care as much anymore when it comes to opening social media. And what I mean by this is like you need to be so quick to get to the point. You need to draw people in. Yes, there's all these like viral trend hooks and all the kind of things. This is why it's so important on who you're being. The right things will work for you. Okay? They'll work depending on your brand, on your image, on your presence, on what exactly you're wanting to get across. A hook that I do may not actually do well in your brand and your business, and that's perfect. It's finding what works best for each individual person, which is why so much of my business model is a one-to-one capacity, because I love to work one-to-one with clients because it's a tailored approach to each individual. It's not one size fits all. Yes, there's trainings and collective teachings I share, and at the end of the day, it's then what you do with those trainings that work. And I did a free masterclass all on bingeable branding and storytelling marketing. The link to receive that and watch that will also be in the show notes. And this was such a fantastic, not even like foundation, but just such a fantastic overview of all the work we get to do if and when we do work one-to-one together. And you can still gain so much value from that masterclass. And it's clearly showing you and telling you how to insert certain characters in your story. And what I mean by this is like in your stories on social media, on Instagram, in your writing. Who are the main characters? Is it you or is it your audience? How are you seeding certain pieces of information with them? So that way they can clearly associate what your brand is about with you. Being known as a specific person, I'm being known as the person that teaches storytelling marketing. And you best believe it did not start out this way. I was, a bit of branding, bit of content, bit of socials. I was, weaving here and there. And that was perfect because I was learning my flow. I was learning what I really loved. And it wasn't until I really just became rock solid and crystal clear in what I actually want to teach and also in my strengths and skill sets. And that came by me applying myself. That came by me investing and educating. So when I was doing NLP in March, the, level 1, I guess you could call it, I was also doing a messaging intensive program, which was run by Samantha Daly. I love Sam. I've had her on my podcast as well, and she's really phenomenal at what she teaches. And I invested in one of her intensive programs. And because she's based in Florida in America, the calls were like 1 a.m. here. And I was like, that actually works out well because I'll be back for my training at midnight and I'll just jump on a call for 2 hours because that week was just nuts. And at the same time, it got me ahead. And so I learned so much in that intensive. I got to work so closely with Sam and she really helped me refine so much of my messaging and taught me so much. I love that I had her on the podcast. Like, it was such a great conversation. I have the show linked as well in the show notes if you're interested. And the point is, I applied myself and at the same time, I knew I had an intense, week, 7 days where I would be doing such big days, all into the early hours of the morning, such minimal sleep. And that was for a season. And that season is then what got me to absolutely explode in the best way possible when it comes to my business. And I shared on my socials a while ago, the month of October was like, the theme was nurture. It was just like slow and just rest and recoup because like life was go, 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 go. And I had that really beautiful solitude, month, I guess you could say. And now we're in November and like I'm full of energy, if you can't already tell. And I'm about to, as I'm recording this, I'm about to go into Master Prac. I would have been, I think, week 2. Master Prac goes for like 15 days. It's full on. And by the time I come out of Master Prac, it'll be my birthday. And then it's December. And then I'm heading back home for Christmas. And it's just like, we're in 2026 already. So how can you keep up with this pace? How can you acknowledge the certain seasons that you're in and just like let them have the light that they deserve? How can you be so much more intentional about your time, your energy, who you allow in, the conversations you're having? Do an order of your time. I guarantee there is so much wasted space where you're doing things that perhaps you could get done in a shorter time period if you're more intentional. Or maybe you're just wasting time, you're jumping from task to task. You know the saying, like, if you want something done, ask a busy person. Opposed to somebody that has amples of time, they will then take so long to get it done. And that's the difference. Like typically, success loves speed. And so typically somebody who is like busy, and I don't mean busy for the sake of being busy, I mean productive and actually doing stuff in their life and business. They're seeing the results. They're moving instantly. They're doing things instantly. This is a hack. Like this is truly how you get, like, think like you're in a rocket. This is how you get even more fire and get to go like whoosh. Be productive with your time and live full days, live full nights. Live your life to the fullest that way. And know that you're going to have seasons, definitely, when things aren't as hectic. And I know the end of my year will be like that. Like we're starting Thursday and I've been intentional the past weekend. Beautiful at home. I had the house to myself. It was like really stormy. I'm like, this is perfect. And that was intentional, staying in and not doing too much because I knew things were about to ramp up. So this is like such a hack. Like this really just shows like a whole other level of self-awareness when we can really like tap in and tune in and make sense of the season that we're currently in and the season that we're also about to head into. Like kind of like, seeing the future in a way, like being able to predict what's going to come in, asking for what you want, being intentional. Be intentional about every single thing that you do, and life will turn out 10 times better than you could even comprehend. I was saying this to my friends the other day. We were at a beautiful luxe high tea. 2 of my really good friends surprised me with a high tea to celebrate my birthday because it's my birthday month, even though it was like literally 3 weeks before. And we were having such, wholesome conversations as I always do with my friends. And I was saying to one of them that I really want to call in more people in my life, more connections, more friendships. I love to meet people so much, aligned people. And as I expressed this, my friend asked, what's your intention behind that? And I was like, oh, that's a good question. Like I haven't truly gotten clear on that intention. Like, let me do that. And I guarantee now the types of people that I get to call in are going to actually match that. Opposed to saying that and then like random people or just like random experiences happening that don't actually contribute that much to where I want to go in life. And I know that this way of moving probably isn't for everybody, which is why I have this podcast and which is why the community I have listens so closely, because they also get this way. So how can you be more intentional about the way you're moving? The opportunities that you want to attract, that you want to call into your life, how can you be even more specific? Specificity is your superpower in everything that you do, in your intention setting, in how you live your life, and also in your content, also in your messaging, also in your copywriting. Specificity is so crucial. Pair that with storytelling, you have a pretty phenomenal brand presence. You have a brand presence where people instantly remember your name, your modalities, your teachings, your frameworks. How can you start to live more like that? You need to embody, you need to convey that first for everyone else to then catch on to. And lucky for you, I'm your woman who can also help you start. There will always be a link in the show notes where you can book in a free chat with myself and we can talk so much more about you, about what you want with your life and your brand and your business. And I can give you real life results tailored specifically based on your wants and desires and needs. That link will always be there in the show notes. So thank you for listening to this episode. I've been on such a roll today, guys. I've recorded, I think 5 episodes back to back. I'm like, whew, let's do this. Fueled and powered by coffee right now, which we love. Thank you for listening to this episode. Leave the show a rating and review if you stuck around to the very end and you found some value in this episode. I know you did. Leave us a review. It would probably take you 10 seconds if you're really fast at writing. It means so much more than you know. And I will love you 10 times more. So I love you regardless. I'll love you 10 times more if you can leave us a review. And as always, I will speak to you in next week's episode. Bye, guys. Mwah.